Welcome back to the Z Settlement channel. I'm your host, Chris Chan. How many of you guys are missing your hairdresser or barbers by now? I know I sure am. Today's topic concerns minor settlements. If you were an attorney representing a minor client or a parent of a child who was injured, you have a lot of decisions to make when it comes to your child or client's settlement. Stating the obvious, a child cannot just receive a large sum of money. If they could, many of us would be living a reality very similar to that horrible 90s Disney film, Blank Check.
What do you want, kid? Name a figure, we'll discuss it.
But besides all those possible chaotic scenarios of how a minor might abuse their settlement funds, we wanted to discuss with you the legalities of why our laws were written the way they were to protect minors. And who better to discuss that with you, our viewers, than attorney and YouTube channel host, Natasha Axelrod. Take it away, Natasha.
Just a few general points about minors' compromise. Minors lack the legal capacity to contract. So if a minor is a plaintiff in a personal injury case and the case settles, it requires a parent or another approved guardian to sign the settlement agreement on their behalf because they cannot legally sign a contract. California law requires approval of this settlement through this process called minors' compromise. This is where a judge is really just looking to make sure that the overall settlement is fair and reasonable, that the attorney's fees are fair and reasonable in order to safeguard the minor's interests and make sure that the settlement overall is in the best interest of the minor. California probate code also requires special handling of the settlement proceeds, again, to protect the minor. So that is what Chris is going to talk to you about today and what Z Settlement Advisors provides, which is the options for what to do with settlement funds from a minor's personal injury lawsuit.
Thanks, Natasha. You can find out more about the law from Natasha by subscribing to her YouTube channel. Link below so you can like and subscribe. Speaking of which, please like and subscribe our channel as well. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button right below on this window and then that thumbs up button for a like. Hopefully you have a YouTube account by now, and if you don't, come on, it's 2020. So with minor settlements, you really only have three options. Option one, a court repository, or also known as a court-ordered blocked account. Option two, a structured settlement, and option three, a minor's trust. Let's take an in-depth look at all three and weigh out the pros and the cons. Option one, a court-ordered blocked account. This is essentially a bank account which requires a court order in order to deposit or withdraw funds prior to the minor reaching age 18, also known as the age of majority, or also what I like to call adulthood in limbo. I mean, come on, let's face it. You can join the military, serve your country, you can vote, and you can be held accountable for your actions in the court of law, but you still can't drink at a bar and you still can't gamble. Hence, you're an adult, sort of? Now, parents can still petition the court for funds within a blocked account, but a judge has to approve it, and it has to be for the sole benefit of the child. For example, if a child was involved in a minor's dog bite case, and later on they wanted to do some cosmetic touch-up surgery, the court could be petitioned for access to the funds for that reason. Now, the only real issue with a minor's court-ordered blocked account is the interest rates, which, let's face it, it's quite literally the same as the change you find in your couch when you decide to clean your couch once a year. Now, you'd think we'd be over-exaggerating, but we're not. We called 5 major US banks and asked them what their interest rates were for court-ordered blocked accounts for minors. Here's what they said. So essentially, a blocked account is really only good for one reason: holding money for a minor that is literally about to turn 18 for, let's say, in the next 2 to 3 years. But then this could become another problem if we're talking about a large sum of money. What would you do if you were 18 again and you all of a sudden had access to $50,000 to $1 million in settlement funds? I mean, let's face it, not everyone was as responsible as me at age 18. I mean, just look at me. No? Oh, how about now? Okay. Now. Let's face it, the majority of us were not very responsible at age 18, and that's a trend that is likely to continue for future generations. Which leads us to our second option, a structured settlement. A structured settlement is an option which allows you to elect deferred periodic payments paid out over time through a life insurance annuity. This allows parents and attorneys to custom tailor when the minor would receive funds after the age of 18. And the beauty of this product is that you can use it to plan for the purchase of a vehicle, college or trade school funds, an educational allowance, or pretty much anything you, the parent, guardian, and attorney feel would be in the best interest of the child. And although interest rates in structured settlements are still not nearly as good as they were in the 80s, they are still way better than the court repository or block account, also known as the change you would find in your couch once a year. Now, the only issue with structures is that once you've selected how the payments are going to be paid out, you cannot change it. Moreover, parents cannot petition the court for early release of the funds. This might become an issue if they have a minor who needed scar revision surgery, which is why it's so important for you to get a settlement advisor involved early on so that they can do proper planning for the needs of the minor. Your third option is a minor's trust account. A minor's trust account is designed to protect and manage the assets of a minor child prior to them reaching a court-specified age, traditionally 18 to 21. Overall, minors' trust accounts have always outperformed in regards to interest rates, structured settlements, and minors' block accounts. However, this is subjective to market performance and the various investment portfolios offered by each individual trust provider. Now, given the current economic crisis that we just faced, I would be very surprised if a minor's trust account yielded a high interest rate in this last year. But the real issue with minor's trust accounts is that the minor gets full access to the funds at the age designated by the court. This becomes a problem again when we're dealing with large sums of money. So let's go over the pros and cons again. So what's the best option for your client or child? Every circumstance is different and unique. Our office recommends that you involve a settlement advisor early on in the settlement planning process. A good settlement advisor takes every aspect into account before formulating a plan. And why limit yourself to one option? Why not do a hybrid option? For example, have a structured settlement with a fixed guaranteed tax-free payment paying into a trust. And of course, that trust can be petitioned for early access for the sole benefit of the child in certain cases, for example, like scar revision surgery. Give us a call for your free consultation. We'll teach you the A to Z's of settlements. See you next time.